All right. All right. So the first one, I think I've sent out this website before. This is the North American Procurement Council, and it's every bid list by state. And I'll just kind of run through an example of what I do normally to find bids on here. And I'll go on here probably once a week, in all honesty, real quick to see if there's any new ones. But it's also really good for the old ones. So so I just click the Pennsylvania Bid Network. I'll type in my login real quick. The login is free, so you just create a login and then you're able to look at everything. Just register now for free. So I'll click here, bids, search the opportunities, and first off, you can put in the county and city if there's something you're looking for specifically. But what I'll do is I'll usually put in just date going back. It only has the last 6 months, but it'll go as far into the future, obviously, as bids are put in here. So I'll go to 2018, and the scope here I'll put in lining just to start off. But I usually do a search here, lining, CIPP. I'll even put in point repair occasionally just in case something like that pops up, which has happened before. So here you can see kind of the new ones. So this is, let's see one here. See sewer trenches, CIPP lining. This is a new one that's, the due date isn't until August. So, there's probably a few people who are bidding on this, but you won't know it yet because they won't mention anything until the jobs the bids are tabulated. So I'll go down here. Let's see. I have one marked here. This Wissaming sewer rehabilitation project. Now, granted, because it's municipalities, a lot of these are going to be manhole to manhole, but still, first off, a lot of these companies that do manhole to manhole are also doing some lateral and definitely some point repair and maybe some LCR work. Then some of these are actually, they'll have some, depending on the community, what they own, they'll have some lateral stuff on here as well. So this is, this job for quite a bit of linear feet of mostly 8-inch sewer mains. So I'll go down here and I'll find they'll have all the documents down here at the bottom. Let me go back to that real quick. Down here at the bottom they'll put the yeah. So they'll have the bid documents. They'll have actually a link here, an outside link to the community's bid, but they'll usually put the attached files on here as well. So if you go down to the bottom, the attached files, the addendum, you'll have, and then recommended to award plus the tabs. So you just kind of click through here. You usually find the bid tab, which I'll click here. So this is from the engineering company that worked with Wissaming, PA, Wimising, and what they'll have here is they'll have the total bids, and they'll actually, if you go down further, they'll break it down by like exactly what each job, what each part of the job, like these companies have to break it down really specific, and they'll put everything on there. So you'll see here the companies, Lane Inliner, Mr. Rehab. So these are two companies that I know of. Mr. Rehab's actually bought from us before. Video Pipe is Video Pipe, it's Carolyn, and then Standard Pipe Services. So I looked at this last week. I don't know who Standard Pipe Services are. I've never heard of them. So I actually did some research and found some contacts with them, and send an email to them. I actually have a call with them later this week. So right there from this one, if there's only 4 on here, and sometimes you'll find 10, but from this one I found one new lead. And the cool thing is, if I go down here, I was just kind of messing around looking at this, and you can see right here where my cursor is, furnish and install structural point repairs. And there's actually quite a bit of point repairs being installed on this job. And so, there's all these companies obviously do point repairs. So that's, it's a good thing to kind of look for. When you look through these bids, you can actually see specifically what they're doing. So that's one example. Let me run through another one I found that was pretty good. Here, let's see. Carnegie. I'll click on this one. Same deal, breaks down everything. And this actually says sanitary point repairs on it.
I'm sorry to yell at you, but when I say keep quiet, you gotta be quiet.
You guys there? Hello?
You did your line on it.
Hello? Did John mute your thing there? All right, so here's another one. And again, shows the engineering company, shows, this community. Allegheny County, and you go down here, bid results. It's a little more clear. It actually says, who the bid results are. Same type of deal. Bunch of companies I've heard of: Insight, JetJack, State Pipe from before, but I don't know this guy, Stefanik, Next Generation. Granted, I looked him up. He does a lot of excavating, but he also does point repairs and some lining. So bam, right there, I got a new customer. So it's a really cool way to find some new customers. You got to do some digging, but it worked out. One other thing you can do here, let me show you here. Point repair. I'll just search point repair in here. Granted, sometimes, guys, in all honesty, you'll find people looking for materials on this too. It's happened like twice, but mainly they're looking for contracting work to be done. But like Frederick County, that job that I got, or hopefully getting soon, they put theirs was on this for their patch kits. So if I go down here, let's see, let me look for this one that I was looking at. Gwynedd CIP Point Repairs project here, and they're looking for 60 linear feet of actual point repairs to be done. And I want to give you an example of this outside link. So if you click this outside link here, actually takes you to their the PennBid site and breaks down everything about this job. If you look at these tabs, description, everything from this was bid back in April, but it still gives you a good example. And then you click here, bidders. So there were a ton of companies that bid on this job, and you can notice a couple of them immediately. Video Pipe, that's the Carillon, Mr. Rehab from before, Bob Czechia. This actually, and the reason I like some of these outside links, it gives you not only the contact name, gives you their address, their phone number, and an email. And this is usually a primo contact guy, the owner or somebody like that who's going out there to bid these jobs. But again, look how many there are. I found this a couple weeks ago. I've contacted every single person on here. I sent a few to like a couple of these guys who were in New York, who were in John's area. I sent them over to him, and I've gotten some good feedback back. I have a meeting on tomorrow up in Cumberland, Maryland area with one of the companies I found on one of these. So it's a cool way to find bids on there. And granted, every state is on here, so everybody can find something on here, especially like Ryan, who has 10 states. There's going to be a bunch of opportunities. So that's a good one I like, is using that bid one. So moving on, I want to go just show you kind of, I know you guys use these sites, the municipality sites, but I found some cool stuff recently from really digging in these community sites. So here's Baltimore City. Now, normally what we all do is we go here, we find, wastewater, stormwater, and click through to find contact information, see kind of what they're doing. And if there's anybody, you can kind of see if they do their own lining. You can see if, who the contact information is. We all kind of do that. So I know just from just talking with them a million times, Baltimore City right now doesn't do anything themselves. They're going through some change of management, and I'm keeping in touch with them, but it'll be a little while till they do anything themselves. But I went to the procurement area. That's what I've been doing lately, is actually finding their procurement. Usually it's up here. You can find you can search procurement, or there's something like this, doing business with DPW. So I'll click on that. It'll take forever to load because Baltimore City doesn't know what they're doing. There we go. So this is exactly what I'm looking for right here. First thing that pops up, contractor and consultant directories. So a lot of these municipalities will give you a list of every single person that's approved to work with them. So first off, here's the directory of women and minority enterprises. Here's the pre-qualified contractors directory, consultants directory. I've already went through all this and looked at it, so I know that the best one of these is this WBE one. So this pops up. I'm just going to kind of scan through here, but once you do a little digging, you can find, down here at the bottom, directory of companies, view full directory of companies listed by service codes, listed alphabetically. So I'll click here, full directory of companies listed alphabetically. And it actually downloaded a PDF for me here. So I'll open that up. And this is just minority and women's businesses that are working with Baltimore City. And there's 196 pages of them. Now, a lot of these will be painting companies and concrete companies, not having to do with us. But what I'll do is I'll just search sewer, and there's 21 different companies here who have something to do with sewer in their services. And same thing, this had email, contact name, address, phone number, everything. So I went down, I'm just kind of clicking through here, but I want to get to one specifically. I got down here to P&P sewer techs. A lot of them will say, sewer construction, concrete construction, what have you. But P&P sewer techs, never heard of them. But if you see here, point repair, replace pipe, sewer construction, and rehab. Wow, I've never even heard of these guys. I contacted this guy. I have a meeting set up next week with him. Just random dude that I found on this site. So this is another good way to find these guys. You can also, these pre-qualified contractors directory. Same kind of thing. This one you had to do a little more digging. This is so far one of the best ones I've found. Not all of them are this easy. But this one, give me 1 second, I'll load it up. It still gives you some information. It gives you an email, but again, it doesn't give you a scope of what they do, so you have to do a little more digging. It's a little more time consuming because you really have to find out what these guys are doing. But again, I was clicking through here. This is just an example, and bam, I found Amliner East, who's a big company, and from that I got an email. So, there was some good. I can find a company that I've already been talking to and found a new email, a new contact. So that was definitely helpful. So I would give that a shot when you're looking at municipalities to look through their procurement department, and within their procurement department, a lot of them will have directories of companies that they use. All right, next thing I want to jump into here is LinkedIn, which I don't know if you guys are using LinkedIn. I know Grant's been pushing it big time, and I really started recently, and it's been pretty awesome. And I know Tim and I have talked about maybe doing like a group LinkedIn account with all of us because it's crazy expensive for all to have our own. So I have my own LinkedIn account, but I created it. It's already, you basically get locked out for however many you do each month, however many people you look up. So I created a new account this morning just to have something so we can kind of look at it easier here. There's Trelleborg doing their thing with pipe seals. So what you can do on LinkedIn that's great is you can search really specifically. So I'll look up trenchless, people with skills in trenchless technology, groups about it. So I'm going to do people with skills, trenchless technology. And then the cool thing I can do is over here on the right is look up locations. So I can actually look up and add, let's say, Pittsburgh, the greater Pittsburgh area. And it's just people that have trenchless technology in their bio who are in the Pittsburgh area. And it's pretty awesome for finding people who are specifically in that area. A lot of these will be private. So this says Vice President Business Development. We'll click this guy. He's a private guy. Won't even let you. What you do is you can send an in-mail from your account, and it'll basically say, allow me to see you. I haven't had one person say no yet. So these people all want to do work.
Steve, hey Steve, real quick.
Yeah.
I was looking at, why is it they all have LinkedIn member? When we were looking at this before, it actually gave you the person's name.
So a lot of them do.
Because you created a new account?
No, it's so a lot of them do, but a lot of them keep it private. And then I think because I'm a member of, in my main account, I'm a member of so many groups that I'm allowed to actually see more information. So I think that has a lot to do with it, what you're saying, but it's also, you can make your...
Also, you say no, also with LinkedIn, yeah, you have to pay for that. If you want, if you want to be part of private accounts, you have to pay for it. It's an added feature.
Yeah.
A lot of people privatize their accounts where you can see that to avoid spam and to avoid anything,
Yeah. Yeah, and Tim, if we had one of those accounts like we were looking at, like those sales accounts, you could see almost everything. It doesn't let you privatize much when you can do that. So there's a little more information. But even, so you have out of your network. So like once you started like a sales account, you can really dive into more of that. The other cool thing that I found out yesterday, so I'm going to Harrisburg, PA on Thursday, and their entire wastewater is controlled by a private organization called Capital Region Water. So I was just messing around and I typed them into there, and they have a pretty awesome LinkedIn page that's very active. All their 36 employees on it, which is quite a bit. And so I went through there and I found a couple contacts that who I've already reached out to. So yeah, that's a cool thing. I would use that. We'll talk with Tim about seeing what we can do with getting like an actual account because I think it would help a little bit. And also hit up Grant. Just send Grant an email and ask him to open you up to his contacts. And when you do that, I think that's another reason I can see a lot more with my other account is he opens it up and then you can see a lot of all his people and he's got like 10,000 contacts on his. So definitely reach out to Grant. And then the last thing, Facebook, I just kind of started using. It's actually not terrible for finding people. Here's Capital Region Water, the people I was just telling you about. Again, they're July 6th, so last week. That's pretty active. And you can find, if you look through the people that they have here. Also, I will link and follow all these people, so they'll pop up information. But if you just kind of go to this is my specific homepage on this. There's me. Let's see, home. But like All American Plumbers is a guy I use, or a guy I look at. So he's very active on this. But you can also search, for instance, Trenchless Technology or Trenchless Baltimore, and it'll bring up a lot of people to follow. A lot of these organizations like that Grant's a member of, but also little groups like Trenchless Technology, 14 members. You might find somebody in there. Also, the great thing is, what I like is conversations. There'll be a bunch of conversations here where the people are talking about trenchless pipe repair. So, I don't know if you guys are probably using that already, but I think it's gotten me a couple random leads using Facebook and Twitter as well. I would use Twitter too because there's a few of the engineers and like decision makers that use Twitter. So, any questions?
Yeah, Steve. When we're talking about the bid page and you're finding all these contacts, are you addressing it that you found that on the bid page? Are you leading with that, or kind of what